we did not expect to include anything but songs in these videos, but we had a couple people actually listening to podcasts, so we figured it would be a fun little addition. There was a Danish exchange student who was listening to a Danish podcast. He gave us the title.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, sure.
What song are you listening to and who's it by?
I'm listening to a podcast actually.
Oh, really?
What's the name of the podcast?
It's Kasper Calls Funk. It's a Danish podcast.
Oh,
Okay.
So,
Alright.
thank
probably
you.
don't know it.
No idea how to spell it though, so
Unfortunately, we tried to look up top Danish podcasts. Couldn't tell you if it came up.
no,
So,
that's a loss.
adding it to the list of some cool things that Maryland students listen to,
Absolutely.
especially travelers. But unfortunately, we cannot hear from that today. But the other podcast that we did hear about was called Two Bears, One Cave.
May I ask you a song you're listening to?
Oh, what song I listen to?
Yeah.
I listen to a podcast.
Oh, what podcast?
Two Bears, One Cave.
Oh, cool.
When we heard that, we were like, what could this podcast be about? Is it comedy? Is it story that like a movie or a TV show someone turned into a podcast? Is it a casual thing? So looking into it.
On the podcast website, they describe it as Two Bears, One Cave is one of the top comedy podcasts in the world, hosted by best friends and stand-up comics Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. Every week they get together, share stories, and laugh, usually about something ridiculous or improbable that Bert said. They talk a lot of shit and challenge each other over everything, but ultimately they really are besties. Plus, Bert is fat. That is their description.
Sounds like a very college student focused,
It does.
young adult audience.
Uh-huh.
So we, instead of trying to find some random episode that would make sense to us, we looked on another YouTube channel to see if there were some of the most popular scenes from a lot of the episodes. So that is what we are giving our first listen to.
Okay.
Only made it through one part. This part was about how one of the guys made a promo video where he was dancing and then he played another character who had to teach the other guy to dance. Not sure what this is a promo for.
No.
Definitely not a harsher, but like the humor is missing on me. I think the most humor that's coming out from it personally is the guy's laugh.
Yeah,
which
that
is excessive.
sounded like a wild bird.
Like something dying.
Yeah.
On to more. So the next clip was about how one of the guys was drinking Kool-Aid. It was a solid 4 minutes of the other one laughing about how he was drinking 64 ounces of Kool-Aid.
I will say, I feel like this and a lot of comedy podcasts are a good example of how sense of humor is very individual. Not my peak comedy, but, to each their own. I do think the laughing was a little excessive.
I think the laughing is making up for the lack of
Yeah.
actual jokes happening.
Yes.
But we are watching the considered best, and I'm still kind of confused what the podcast is about.
I think it's about anything they want it to be about.
This is interesting. No hate on anyone who finds this one interesting.
Yeah.
I personally need more of a storyline.
Yeah.
It's like watching, my mom watches HGTV, and I'm just like, I need a full storyline that I can follow. So definitely something that is not hitting the most with us, but it's very interesting to hear about.
Maybe watch one more clip, get
Yeah.
a full rounded 3.
So then they went on to a story, different episode of the podcast, I guess,
Yeah.
about how one of the guys almost met Jennifer Aniston. Maybe he did. There was going to be some kind of work together. But all I kind of see are the bottles of beer that have been opened, and
The fact that completely unrelated out of nowhere he mentioned, I bet Jennifer Aniston's assistant is really hot. Don't know what
the
context.
belching on the microphone.
I'm not sure what any of that added to the story.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It is not particularly hitting with either of us, but maybe we are just watching the wrong parts. So very, very interesting that someone chose this to listen to on their way to class.
Yeah, very interesting choice.
Maybe it'll be more entertaining if you're going somewhere because there's not much to.
Yeah,
You don't have to listen to.
there's not a lot of active listening that needs to happen.
All right, guys, that is it for this episode. We covered some country, we covered some podcasts, got to know a little bit more about Maryland students' music taste. I hope you go listen to some of these on your own. Tell us what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can change our minds. I don't think you can change my mind on country, but I'm excited to see what you guys think.
All right. We will see you in the next one.